Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the pippinpaddleopsicopolispodcast. I'm your host, Daniel, and I'm joined here, as always, by Avatar Expert Andrea.
Howdy do.
How to do, what to do, baby boo. Oh, yeah. Anyway.
Okay. Slow your roll, honey.
Listen, I'm so dead right now. I'm really tired. I was about to say, let's put it off until tomorrow, but then I was like, then I have to edit it at the same time, so let's not do that. But I just wanted to go to bed.
Same. I literally ate dinner at like 4 p.m. So I was like, oh yeah, I could go to bed at like 6 just for fun. But then I was like, no, you can't do that. So I curled my hair to stay awake.
Cool. Perfect.
Yeah.
Anything new?
Avatar news wise or like life wise?
Just life wise. That's the first segment of the show now.
How many episodes are we in? And I literally forget the order of our stuff.
It always changes though. So
okay, it's usually who's dying.
Wait,
but
I forgot to do the new part. The newest segment of the show is the first part is I tell you what this podcast is about first. Because I have to start doing that. This is week 2 in a row where I'm going to do this. So this is the pippinpaddleopsicopolispodcast where we talk everything Avatar, from Avataring to Avatarzing.
He did it.
Ayo. He did it. Consistency gets you the listens, I hear. But yeah, so we talk anything Avatar. So right now we are going through every single episode of Avatar: The Last Airbender, the animated series, and this would be episode 11 called The Great Divide. But before we get into that, we're going to talk about our lives a little bit. So you can skip ahead if you just want to get to it, or you can listen to what we're about to say.
Yeah, so we usually start off with like who died this week, but I didn't particularly die this week, but it is the 3-year anniversary. Daniel wanted me to talk about this. This is why I'm bringing it up. I'm not bringing it up just for my own benefit. This past yesterday, so Monday, the November 9th, it was the 3-year anniversary of me getting a concussion on stage during a lip sync battle for a sorority event because I dropped into the splits. So let me just paint this picture for you.
Hey, do you still have that saved?
Obviously.
Okay, we're going to put that on the Instagram.
Oh, God. Well, there's 2 dubstep remixes of it, too.
Oh, great.
Yeah. My friend Rolla, who actually listens to the podcast, too. He's the one who made the dubstep remixes.
Hello, Rolla. Hope you're doing well.
It's really bad. It's really bad. But yeah, so there were 3 songs in our set, and the third one was Get Low by Lil Jon. And so like the point of it was during like the get low. So on the first one, I would drop into the splits. And just the sheer force that I had going down, it just, although the lower half of my body stopped, the top half just kept going. So my head smacked the stage at like 37,000 miles an hour. But because my adrenaline was pumping, I didn't realize what was going on or what happened. And like my friends behind me were like, oh my God, are you okay? Like as soon as we got off stage, they're like, oh my God, like, are you okay? Like, does your head hurt? And I was like, what are you guys talking about? And they were like, you literally smacked your face on the ground. And I was like, huh? And then my chin started hurting and my forehead started hurting. And then we were walking back to our apartments, and I started slurring and everything, and I like couldn't walk in a straight line, and like I have a video of me talking and I'm like slurring really badly, and I'm like, I'm not drunk, I swear, like I've just hit my head that hard. So yeah, and then I went to the health center and they're like, yeah, you're concussed, but I already knew, I mean, anyone could have told you I was concussed, but I just have a history of concussions because of soccer. But yeah, so that was fun. Apparently we'll be putting that video on the Instagram, so look out for that. It's really funny. It's really funny.
I
like
was
people I haven't
like,
talked to in a while were like, "This is hysterical. Thank you for posting it." So,
your
yeah.
head, like you went hard. Usually when people hit their heads on the floor, their head bounces, but your head just stayed on the ground. And I was like, wow, she died.
But, like, I get back up as if it never happened.
She
Like, I'm
did.
just
She's just like,
continuing the song, like,
ta-da! Oh, she was like, yeah, I did
and there's a
it.
hair flip and everything, like, and the best part is that I'm wearing, like, a splint on my wrist because I had, like, fractured it at a frat party the weekend before.
Nice. And yep,
So, yeah,
show
I'm
must go
accident
on.
prone. Anyways, how are you?
I'm good. Nothing big happened. Let's see. Yeah, my life's still kind of boring.
You're out of isolation though,
I
right? Or did
am.
we already
We
cover that
we
last
covered
week?
that last week when I said I was
Okay.
back in the office.
Oh, yeah,
I
that's
did
right. I'm sorry.
I had a double wedding this weekend, so I didn't have a weekend. I just worked all weekend, and then I'm working again. That's why I'm kind of proud. That's why I probably am like super fucking dead tired. I have big news, but I think I'm gonna save it until extra official. So come back at the end of the month.
I don't even know what it is, so I'm intrigued.
Yeah. I was gonna save it for the podcast. I haven't really told anyone, so if you want to know the big news, you got to listen to the podcast. Anyways, I think that's it for the segment of the part of our lives. So moving on to the next segment, which is Avatar news. What most people actually were probably clicking on this whole podcast for. There's finally like Avatar news, which we never really have Avatar news. It's just a segment I put in here because the whole reason I started this was so that when the live action Avatar show comes on Netflix, we can start talking about that. And those are probably going to be like Avatar news leading up to it. But this week there's actual Avatar news. Andrea, do you want to tell us what the Avatar news, or should I tell us what the Avatar news?
Yeah, I can talk about the Avatar news because I know you're excited. I'll say what it is and then you can talk about your questions because I know
Okay.
you've got some. So what I found is that Viacom CBS CEO hints that Paramount Plus could expand Avatar: The Last Airbender franchise with a new show. So Paramount Plus is what they're renaming CBS All Access, and they recently just kind of got the rights to stream Avatar, Korra, and like other different Nickelodeon shows. And so they're just kind of excited that these are still like big shows and they have their comic book um sequels, I guess you could call them. And so they are excited to expand with possibly another spin-off of the show, which is really cool.
Yes.
And they're like, yeah, Netflix has that thing without the creators, but that's about all they say. So Avatar will be on another streaming service. They don't really have a date as of when, but yeah, so maybe there's possibly um another spin-off, which is exciting.
Yes. Is it exciting?
I think it could be exciting.
The I I don't want there really to be. I love Avatar. Well, I love Avatar: The Last Airbender. That's what I love. I like some of Korra, but for me, it's like a one and done thing. Like, yeah, we can like I like that speculation. I feel like people always want sequels, and there's
But they
no
never really work out.
yeah, they never work out, and we're at a point where everything has to have a sequel. That back in the day you would get like a one movie, and then yeah, you could speculate, or like they would write books and shit about it, and like fan fiction, that kind of thing. And I think that it's cooler to me to just not be set in stone, because a lot of times I feel like a lot of time has passed where you can like people have speculated, and if you bring something back like a continuation from Korra and it's not what the audience is expecting, it's not gonna do well.
Well, I feel like okay, if it were to be a spin-off, the way they say it is like a spin-off off Avatar.
Like Aang.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I feel like maybe it's like a spin-off of that storyline.
Ooh,
Cause that I would watch the hell out of that.
like maybe like a Kyoshi warrior thing.
Maybe, I'm not
I'm
sure.
trying to think of
That'd be pretty
characters.
cool of
That
like
was
what
yeah,
Uncle Iroh.
Uncle Ira.
Just him running his tea shop. I could watch that for years.
But that would be like the comics. Don't. Well, I haven't read them. I have one, but I'm waiting to read it for when we get to them. So I can't talk too much on them. But don't you think if it was after Avatar, The Last Airbender,
Oh, then what if they're just making the comics into a series?
I don't want that. I kind of
No,
don't want
you
that.
don't want
I don't
that.
want that. I mean, it'd be cool, but I don't want that. That's what the comics are there for. Um,
Okay. Okay.
but I also my other question was, do you think that the Netflix show might not even happen anymore, and it might be just if it does happen, it might be on this new Paramount thing?
I don't think it would be on the Paramount thing.
I mean, that would be like it's a new thing as a starting business. It could bring in a lot of traffic that you would want. I don't know if Netflix has signed a contract on for that, but with the state of the world, a lot of shows have been canceled and like stuff like this that hasn't even kicked off. It could just be like bend and then maybe this Paramount people could be like, "Well, let's pick it up and do it ourselves or something."
I feel like we would have heard that it was like trash from Netflix though. Cause like news was quick to get out that the creators were gone. If they had just canned the entire show, I feel like we would have known by now.
Well, I think the creators had been gone for a while before they announced it. Maybe the creators leaving was just part 1 of this whole project maybe falling
Well,
apart.
then they should have just ripped the band-aid off altogether.
Honestly, I'm not as excited as I was, and it's not even because the creators left. I just don't know. I don't feel. The more I think about it,
We just don't need a live
we don't
action.
need a live
Just you're not gonna
action.
get the same
It's
effect.
not like here's the thing. The only thing I can think about that would be cool is the visuals. But other than that, because we already know the story, there's no surprises. Usually like when I watch like a superhero movie that's based on a comic book, I know the story. So I never watch the trailers because I'm going in for the experience of seeing the things on the pages come to life. Like I know that Bucky was the Winter Soldier. Like I know that. Like that wasn't like I went in knowing that. So I'm there to see like things come to life, you know?
So then why wouldn't you want to see the comic books be put into a spin-off series if you like seeing the books come
Be-
to life?
because
Riddle me that.
well, it's if the comic books were made into a live action, then yeah, I'd be down for that. But if they're just a cartoon, then it's not as exciting for me because it's just like this two-dimensional picture. It just moves left and right now, you know, and it's doing the reading for me. Just taking a drink, folks. I stopped too early.
You really did. You should have kept going for like 2 more seconds because I really thought you were. But I mean, the visuals in Avatar were still so good too.
Sometimes.
The scene that I'm thinking about right now is when Aang is unlocking all of his chakras. That last one with like the really really big Aang. That one is chef's kiss.
I actually would love to see that in live action. That scene would kind of remind me of like something weird, like in Spider-Man Far From Home, that Mysterio sequence thing. That's what that would. That's what I would want to see.
That's one of my favorite scenes.
That I feel like that
But
would
the
be the
one in like
equivalent.
the bridge, not the one where Spider-Man gets his ass kicked.
The one where I'm talking about the one where he gets hit by a train.
Yeah, I don't like that one
Yeah,
because he
that's
gets his
the
ass
part.
kicked.
No,
That's why
that's
I don't like it.
that was like when I saw that, I was like, whoa, they're going somewhere with this next phase of Marvel, and I'm really excited for it. But we're not talking about Marvel. We're talking about Avatar here. But yeah,
Yep.
I would like to see that in live action. There's like certain moments. I don't know. I feel like there's moments I want to see, but I don't want a whole I don't know. It's just hard because it's just a remake, and I don't know. They failed us once already, and I don't know. I've just been having doubts about this Avatar thing lately. But okay, going back to this article real quick. What do you think? So you said I'm reading it here. Give me 1 second. You said they were gonna do a spin-off of like Avatar: The Last Airbender.
That's what I took away from it.
Yes, that's the last line actually. um, so you wanted to see an Uncle Iroh. What if
No. I'm just saying I would watch endless hours of footage of Uncle Iroh.
okay. But what would you want to see then? Like if they spun something off.
I would want to see what like the South Pole did while Katara and Sokka were away.
What if
Just like
it's like
focus on some kids and just like what do they get into? What do the adults do? Who feeds this village?
well, what if that's it? What if that's the story? Like we get all the stories of every place that the Avatar visited afterwards. Like maybe we get like the battle of like Haru trying to get back the village or something.
Oh, that'd be cool as hell.
Like once the Avatar leaves, we get that story of
Yeah.
like what happens next or something. Would it? I actually, I just thought of that, and I kind of like that. But
Not to
like
toot my own horn, but that was a pretty damn
that was
good
pretty.
idea.
Like maybe we do get a little Kyoshi warrior arc after they left. Like we see them because after they left, they went to go join the fight because they weren't in the fight before. So we kind of see maybe that journey or something.
Like, how do they get from fans to shields, you know? Like,
Like,
I need to see
yes.
that jump. Where's that tech?
Or maybe spoiler alert. That was your warning. We get like a Mei Tylee in the Kyoshi warrior sort of thing going.
I don't think May
She
joins.
doesn't. Okay, then it's
It's
just
just Ty Lee.
Tylee. Okay, then it's Tylee. Like maybe an after
Because I
Kyoshi
know in the
warrior.
comics, May joins the gang.
Does she?
Well, like
Oh,
joins the gang, kind of. Like she goes and does shit with them. I don't know if that was English or not.
it's close enough. Would you like maybe? Well, I've mentioned this before. Like, I want this. I really want this. Like, if they're gonna do anything, I really think they should do an Avatar anthology series of the Avatars. Like, give me a Kyoshi episode, a Roku episode.
Oh my god, I would kill
Yeah.
for a Kyoshi episode.
I mean, they have the books now, so they have a lot to pull from.
Mm-hmm.
And who wrote the books? The books are considered canon, correct?
Yes, books are canon.
I don't know who wrote them. Hold on, I think I have it here right in front of me. FC Yi and co-creator Mike. That's who wrote it. So it looks Mike wrote it, so he helped write it, I guess. So I would like to see that. Have you did you read the books?
I am Jared, 19.
Jared, I don't understand.
Oh my god.
I live under a rock.
It's a Vine. What up? I'm Jared. I'm 19. I never fucking learned how to read.
You went to college though.
Okay.
You were supposed to read in college.
You're supposed to doesn't mean I did.
Oh, you had audiobooks, didn't you? Speaking of audiobooks, just kidding. We're not there yet. One day though.
Oh my god.
That was gonna be my segue into a sponsor read.
Oh my god. You know what? Just get to the summary of the episode. Just
Listen, folks, you want that segue? You gotta like, you gotta subscribe, you gotta follow, you gotta share it. Get those numbers up there, and we'll get you some audiobooks. I promise you that. That'll be our first sponsor. Okay. Do you have any more thoughts on this then?
no thoughts, head empty.
Cool. Then moving on. I don't have any more Avatar news, just looking here on the Avatar news website. And there's nothing. So we're gonna move on to the next part of the show where we actually talk about the episode we watched. I literally just watched it like 10 seconds before this I jumped on here.
Tisk.
And these last few episodes have been very disappointing to us here. Last week, I really like last week's episode after listening back to it, and that episode got what it deserved. Just gonna say it
Oh
out there.
my god.
And this episode, it's not as bad in my opinion, but the story is really straightforward and it's pretty much set up in the first like 2 seconds of the show of what's going to be happening, that I was like I don't really have any I'm not questioning anything. I know where this is going and whatever. I guess that's a review of the show for me, and good night folks. Just kidding. Um so Andrea, what happens?
No, I said you were explaining this one.
Okay. So
It's fresh. It's fresher in your head
it
because
is
you just watched it.
nations divided, as always in the show. It starts off with some bickering between Sokka and Katara, and Aang's like, "Yo, we must not fight each other." And then we meet like these two tribes that have hated each other for 100 years, and then Aang has okay. This is one of my favorite parts. Katara's like, "Aang, do something," and he's like, "I don't know what to do." So then Katara steps up, and at first I thought she was gonna be like had some advice, but instead she goes, "This is the Avatar. He's gonna tell you what to do." And I'm like, "Wow, way to throw him under the bus like that, Katara." And so Aang's like, just old people get in there, sick people get in there. Appa's gonna fly you over this like canyon, canyon.
Oh my god.
And so they have to go through this like canyon. It's like the Great Canyon in this Avatar world.
It's the Grand Canyon.
Grand Canyon. God damn.
It's the Great Divide in the show, but the Grand Canyon.
Just all over the place. So then these two rivaling tribes have to travel with each other, and they go through and they hate each other. Their guide ends up breaking his arms because everyone brought food when they were told not to bring food, and the guy gets attacked by these spider creatures,
Canyon crawlers
that look like spider creatures. And then they get to the other side, and then they have to fight the spider creatures, so they all unite. And then they get to the top and they're like, "Nah, we still hate each other." But then Aang's like, "I hate you people so much." So he tells this
No,
story.
he doesn't say that.
He says it inside. And they're about to kill each other, and then Aang's like, "Whoa, I know how to solve this problem. You guys are fighting over these two guys that one said one thing and one said another thing. Turns out they were all babies playing a game of like football or rugby, and you guys have been wrong."
There's a game called Redemption. Come on.
Whatever. And then they're like, "Oh, I guess we're dumb." And then they go walk hand in hand to Ba Sing Se or something like that. Watch the episode and then come back, because that was the worst explanation probably.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
It was. I don't know if you understood anything, because I didn't understand anything that just came out of my mouth. So
Man.
like I said, I don't have many notes on this. I have 3 notes, but they're big questions. I hope they're big questions. Otherwise, the show ain't going nowhere tonight.
Why did you pause for so long?
I got a text message.
Wow. So your text messages are more important than this podcast? Wow.
Always. I'm just kidding. You know, I'd be hanging out with our audience every like weekend. Sup, audience. Okay. Do you have like chronological points in order, or?
Obviously, I do.
Okay, you go do your thing, because I have like 2 really. It's 3, but it could be put into 2.
Okay. So first of all,
hold on. One of my notes here.
You say this episode is straightforward, and here I come with the nitpicky thing.
All right, give me what you got.
In the beginning, Katara and Sokka are fighting over their chores. Daniel didn't really explain this that much, but So Katara and Sokka are fighting over chores. Katara is in charge of getting firewood. Sokka is in charge of putting up the tent.
Yes.
And so Sokka didn't put up the tarp because he could use it as an extra blanket. And Katara is like, yo, what are you doing, homie? Like, this tarp needs to go on top of the tent in case it rains. And he's like, why? It's the dry season. So my first thing about this episode is I've never seen them use a tent until this episode. They've slept outside on the ground up until this episode.
They have. I think they just sleep under Appa's armpits or something.
No, like literally like in the pirate episode, they're all just like in like an open area that's in the forest.
Yeah, maybe
Or
they
they
just
like
bought the tent.
they sleep by waterfalls. Like they've never used a tent in this series until this episode. And it just bothered me. And it just bothered me. And I know they use a tent in the future because like in book 2 when, you know, during the chase episode, they're like, "Oh, we got to set up camp, blah blah, and need your tents." But like this is the first time they use a tent and it's just
I got to take a quick look at the episode here. Just because I want to make a point and I want to know if I'm right or if I just should shut the fuck up.
okay.
Okay, just what I thought. Oh wait, there's no trees. There's one tree. I see one tree in the background. Where is she getting these sticks from?
Well, that's why she got really tiny sticks and Sokka was like, "Oh, your firewood's looking a little thin there,
Yeah.
a little skinny."
Sokka, shut the fuck up. There's no trees. How? Where do you? What? She's not a stick bender, Sokka. She's a water bender. She's not gonna be pulling sticks out of her ass here. Look around, Sokka. You're supposed to be the tracker, all terrain kind of guy. There's like, okay, at the most. Wait, what the fuck is this? Okay, I think this is the next day.
Okay, she could get bushes from shrubs too.
But there's no shrubs. It's just desert, and I saw 2 trees in that first scene.
But I mean, she probably walked a long way to find it.
Okay, there's 3 trees. But then by the canyon, canyon, there's a bunch of trees. So maybe she walked all the way over there. Either way, you're in the desert. Maybe you could burn something else.
Aang burned the jerky.
He did.
Throw back to that second episode. I don't really know. Third.
So after they do that, what do you got next?
All right. So, okay. So we kind of talked about it. I think it was 2 weeks ago when we were talking about the waterbending scroll. We were talking about how like Zuko is like the kid and he's like making all of these calls and it's like, why are the adults so fucking stupid?
Yes. Okay. I have a point on that as well. But
Once again in this episode, the adults are fucking stupid. How is it that these kids were ready to not eat for a whole fucking day? They were ready to not eat just to help these dumbasses get through the fucking canyon. And they were like, no, we can't go without eating. Like, what? If anything, it's the kids that should be like, oh, we're going to sneak a little snack. It's okay.
That, and also, I'm going to skip to the very end here. At the very end, Aang tells the story of how their whole rival was based on this like little kid game. Would you believe a 12-year-old if he told you this? Like you're grown ass people and you're believing like a 12-year-old who's like, you've had this 100-year feud and all of a sudden this guy goes, yeah, that magical orb, it was just a rubber ball. I'm 112 years old or whatever. I'm still a child, but you're going to believe me. And everyone does. And it's like, what? I wouldn't believe Aang. I wouldn't believe Aang if we were the same age. I'd be like, you're fucking with me, dude. I don't believe you. Like,
so you don't think it was right for him to lie? Because that was one of my things. That was one of my things I wanted to bring up was, do you think it was right for Aang to lie to them just to end their feud?
It was.
You might not have agreed with it, but do you think it was right of him to do that?
I don't really care if he did. But I do care the lie he said. Like,
okay.
One, it's a very childish lie. Like,
it really, like, what?
Like, what? Like, you could have lied better so that these grown adults could believe you.
Heibai referee in the animation.
The Heibai.
Heibai was the referee. It was like a panda referee. It was a panda referee.
It was a panda referee. It's like, what are you? Like, I wouldn't believe that story at all. It's he's a bad liar, and these people are really gullible, and it's just sad. Like, I bet you they didn't even make it to Bossing Say. They died like 30 minutes later. That's one of the stories this this spin-off show is gonna show. Aang and the gang, they fly away, and then 30 minutes later, all the old people and all them, they're dead on the ground. All gone.
I mean, that makes sense to me.
I mean, why wouldn't it? Because okay, going back to this story. So at one point, like this isn't. I'm just fucking jumping around here. When they're after the guy breaks his arms, they're like, Aang's like, they're and no one, everyone's like, we're not gonna die with each other. I'm not walking anymore with them. And Aang's like, all right, that's it, people. We're splitting up. You go this way. You go this way. Sokka, you go that way. Katara, you go that way. Whose story? Who do you think's telling the truth?
I don't think either of them are.
I believe the people that they're called gross.
Interesting. Okay. Continue.
It seems more plausible than like the other people are like, oh, he jumped me or whatever. But I don't think they would just jump people. Like they're like kind of barbarian like, but I don't think they were like savages or anything like that. They just hated each other. But in all honesty, they're nice people. Like, you know, they're kind of gross.
Wasn't nice of them to endanger everybody.
I also hate that. I hate
because I forget what their tribe is called. I can never remember the names of these tribes. I know Jinwei and Ganjin were like the two dudes, but
when's the Ganjin, isn't it?
Or is Ganjin the tribe? I can't.
The Great Divide.
I literally like can't remember this ever. Like I've never been able to remember this. But anyways, where was I going with this? Oh yes. So the like barbaric tribe, I'm just gonna call them that. I'm sorry, you guys aren't actually barbaric. I'm sure you have great personalities.
It's the Ganjin and the Zhang.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then which one's which?
Zhang are the dirties, Ganjin are the neats.
Okay, so the Zhangs, they were like, oh yeah, we brought food because the Ganjins thought that we were gonna bring food and they were gonna bring food, so we brought food anyways. And I'm like, that's so fucked.
That's so stupid.
I hate so that. Fucked. Because it's like, yeah, the Ganjins might have put everyone in danger, but it's like half as bad because there's half as much food.
Right.
You know? And like they're just like
go on.
They're like kind of like perpetuating that stereotype about themselves.
Yeah, it's like if someone calls you fat and then like, well, they think I'm fat, so I'm gonna eat anyway or something. I don't know. That's like, does that make sense?
Kind of.
Or like if someone says, you get it. I'm not gonna explain myself because I ran out of analogies.
It's hard to like get an analogy for this, but like they're just like they already think you're a shitty person. You're just gonna keep doing shitty things because they already think that. Like, why?
You're
if
just
you've
proving
been feuding
them right
for that long. Yeah, like if you hate someone, you wouldn't want to prove them right.
Exactly.
About you.
Yes.
Like that's just stupid.
And
literally, these people are so dumb.
But who?
Okay.
Yeah. But who do you believe?
I honestly don't believe either of them. Like I don't think either of them had like the right story.
What do you think? Let's speculate. What do you think actually happened then?
I think.
Do you think it's even like real, or like do you think it was just like a rumor that started?
I think they were twin brothers who got into an argument, blamed each other for something, so that their tribes would hate each other.
I think I don't know. I really believe the Zhangs because remember that in like a future episode, Aang gets arrested. That's what it kind of reminded me of. How they'll just arrest anyone or something.
Aang are you talking about Avatar Day?
Yeah.
But they arrested Aang for a crime Kyoshi committed, which is technically Aang. So they had reason to arrest Aang because you know what happens in the episode with the confession.
But Aang is Aang and Kyoshi's Kyoshi. It's just like let it go. Like people in this world seem to hold grudges forever.
What else are they gonna do?
You're right. Well, they could write those thingies. Speaking of writing those thingies, the canyon crawler that attacks the guy, it breaks his arm, right?
Yeah.
I was under the belief that earthbenders didn't need their arms. Like all their power came from their legs.
Okay, so I wanted to bring this up too because it's like he must not be that great of an earthbender if he can't bend without his arms. Boomy can bend with his fucking chin, for God's sake.
He could bend with his face.
Like, you
What?
must not be that good of an earthbender.
Like,
Like, it comes from your stance.
I don't even.
Like, yeah, I know your arms help with some of the movements, but I feel like you could still create a path with just your legs.
Hold up. Let me to clarify here. Give me 2 seconds. 2 seconds. 2 seconds. And give me. Okay, water. Literally, the opening move in the show is a guy stomping on the ground and kicking. Like, you don't need your arms.
You really don't. You really don't.
A waterbender needs their arms, and there's been an avatar and a character in the future with no arms, and they could still waterbend. Like, if the waterbender can do a waterbending move, which is more like arm focus, you can do an earthbending move, which is like 1,000,000,000% your feet most of the time. And that's the whole point of, like, later on, Toph is like, she senses everything with her feet because her feet do all the earthbending, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this guy,
old man. He's a fraud.
he's a fraud. He probably never even got anyone across. He was just feeding them to those like spider crawler things.
Oh my God.
Show me that spinoff.
Okay, but like, speaking of him breaking his arms, what do you think medical care was like back then? Like, I know they put those like wooden things on his arms to like keep him straight, but like, was that the extent of it? Do you think they like
Well, I think
did anything else to help? Like,
uh,
what did they do back then?
waterbending.
But like,
I
can
think
Katara heal a broken bone like that? Like, I realize
I think so.
I don't want to like bring up this theory now until season 3.
I think.
Do you know what I'm talking about though?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, okay.
There's
I'll type it, but you just keep talking.
I think well, like, skipping ahead here, well, it doesn't matter because by the time we get this, you're all gonna forget. In Korra, when Korra's all sick and stuff, Katara like helps with that, doesn't she? And like probably, sorry, like Dre just send me the theory. I'm gonna cut that out. I think Katara, like season 2 Katara, could have healed his arms. Maybe not all the way, but enough to maybe where he could earthbend with his fucking legs again or some shit.
Okay.
I don't know. I think the splint thing was the thing. They had wheelchairs and shit. You know, the wheelchair guys in there.
But that was just the inventor. I feel like that's just him doing that, not like a whole worldwide thing.
Do they have medicine?
There was that lady with Miyuki in the frog episode that's coming up, the blue spirit.
Oh yeah. I guess they have like herbal, like Eastern medicine.
Yeah.
Well, I guess they do. They also had, I don't know, they didn't have any like anesthetics.
Yeah, it was probably rough for that poor dude.
Do you think he's ever gonna bend again, or do you think he just has permanently broken arms forever?
I mean, he won't have permanently broken arms. I just don't think that the bone would have healed like it should have.
Do you
So
think
he'll
he has
have
like
weirdly shaped arms.
Yeah.
He's old anyways. They should just euthanize him.
They should. Well, yeah, he's old. Like old people tend to die from broken bones, don't they? Like infections and stuff.
I'd like to see his spin-off story.
Listen, I'm
How
telling
fast
you,
does he
they
die?
got
How
30
fast
minutes
does he
away
die?
from that location.
No, but those are the
they're-
tribes, not the earthbender.
He follows them. He's like, I'm
Oh,
done with
that's
this
right.
canon.
That's right. But also, why would he just quit his job? Does he even get paid?
He doesn't. I think he was just doing it to help people. And then these stupid tribes came along, and they're like,
They
broken
made him
arms.
quit his job. You know how many refugees he could have saved if these tribes didn't piss him off?
Do you know how hard it is for a man that age to find a job in that economy? There's a war going on, people.
Oh my god.
He's broke for life. His wife probably died, and that was the only thing getting him through life anymore. He's like, I guess I'll go help people. It's the only thing worth living for anymore. So yeah, he didn't even make it to Ba Sing Se, I'm telling you.
Oh my goodness.
Also, I'm surprised no one in those tribes was like an earthbender, because they said like the brothers like in the original stories, they were like he was a prodigal earthbender or whatever. You would think there was some like earthbending lineage somewhere in those tribes.
Probably, but I feel like if there were earthbenders in those tribes, they would be in the war fighting or captured by the Fire Nation.
True. Yeah. Good point. But maybe like a little kid or something. I don't know.
Mm, Okay.
What do you got?
I know, like, I get Katara and Sokka
Mm-hmm.
relating to the tribes because, it just, like, it fit that Katara was with the clean, neat people and Sokka was with, like, dirty people. But I also don't get why they got so invested in this, like,
They,
feud.
yeah.
Like, you should just listen to the story, take it with a grain of salt, and be like, okay,
Okay.
you guys are just old, senile people that are fighting over nothing. Cool. But no, Katara's like, oh my God, nope, I'm a Ganjin now. Like, can't believe you guys stole our redemption ball. Like, you dirty people. And Sokka's like, what? You wrongfully imprisoned someone. Like, why are you getting so invested? Like, I get it's good to be empathetic, you feel for these people, but do you really think that happened?
Also, I personally think they should have switched them up. I think Sokka should have gone with the clean people and Katara with the
Yeah, it just
dirty.
was so coincidental that they
Yeah.
got with like the right people. But yeah, I was thinking about the two. I was like, what if they were switched?
Like I feel like if they had,
They
then
could have learned something about their sibling by doing that.
right, and then Katara and Sokka would have been like, "Oh, we understand our fault," and then from there they could then help Aang figure out this tribe thing, probably.
Probably.
Yeah.
Like
Um.
Katara being with the Zhangs would have been like they're basically her brother, the tribe of her brother.
Mhm.
She could have understood them better to understand her brother, and then they can see where they're both coming from.
Yes.
And like same with Sokka, obviously, goes without saying. But yeah, like
And I don't like that Katara accepted that food. I feel like
I
she
feel like
should.
she kind of I feel like her moral compass was a little in that
Yeah.
moment.
Like Sokka, I get it. I mean, he even says later, like, I was only taking their side because they gave me food or whatever.
Yeah.
Um.
So I guess good for him.
Yeah.
Sokka doing king shit once again.
Also, how did Aang? Aang was like watching both of these tribes. He wasn't that far away. How did he not see that they had like they were eating, like they were literally like
Right?
eating, and later on he's
If you keep
surprised.
seeing hand going to your mouth, like what do you think is going on
Right.
there?
Like I don't know
Boy.
what are you.
I feel like Momo definitely would have smelled
He would have
something
smelled
too.
something. I feel like even that much food, those were like roast and stuff. You're smelling. If you're hungry, your nose is gonna catch that.
But if it's cold already, I feel like you wouldn't really smell it.
Maybe I don't know.
But also cold meat,
Huh?
like
They
when
probably
ham
had.
gets cold, and the fat just like solidifies, that shit's disgusting.
I'm gonna puke. Oh, you're right. You're right. Um, they
And
they
they're
had a
eating it?
fire. Maybe they warmed it up.
Well, then Aang really should have smelled it
He should have
then.
smelt it. Yeah. What? Okay, so the Zhangs were eating like
Meats,
meats, like legs and stuff, and then the other people had
like bread
bread
and
and
like tarts and stuff. Because Aang was like,
those were the Zhangs, though.
is that an egg custard pie or whatever?
Does that sound good?
No.
It doesn't.
But if you're hungry,
And if you're
vegetarian,
probably.
but egg is technically meat
He's not vegan.
because it's a chicken.
Not technically meat. What is meat? Oh my god, I'm still on this. I don't know what meat is.
Yeah.
Was...
Daniel actually texted me what is meat the other day, and I just never answered because one, he texted me that while I was like at work or something, or I was either at work or drunk. I can't remember when he texted me. But he texted me that and I just didn't respond.
I was like, oh, she never responded. Because if you listen to, was it last week?
Yeah, it was last week.
Last
where we
week.
talk about meat. Yeah.
If you listen to last week's episode, she was saying that if like something uses its body part more than something like another part of the body, the part that uses more work is considered dark meat, and the part that doesn't is white meat. But then,
I said, but that's because of vascular vessels,
yeah, so I was thinking
which is
about,
like blood vessels.
I was
Okay.
thinking
I
about,
didn't say it's just because you use it. I said it's
yes.
because you need blood there. So there's more blood tissue. Oh my
Okay, well,
gosh.
either way,
Don't.
fishes. Fish are considered white meat, but they like probably have extra vessels everywhere because they use their whole body. So
Oh,
what
yeah.
if
So it was Thursday. It was on Thursday while I was at work, which is why I didn't feel like answering Daniel. But
are you gonna read it?
sorry. What? Your question?
The whole text. I think it was a good
Oh,
thread.
you want to read the whole thread? Okay. So you just go, is a fish white meat? How does that work? The fish uses its whole body to move it. Doesn't make sense. And I go, it's not really meat. And he goes, what? In all caps with, lots of question marks, exclamation points. You are exploding my mind right now. What is going on? I feel like you're fucking with me. I go, but I'm not though. Then he says, what the fuck is meat then? But like fish technically isn't meat. Like,
I thought meat was just like the chunky stuff of anything. Like you ever hear like there was like a fruit and you can eat the meat out of that fruit or something.
I have never heard of that before.
What it's like? What is that fruit called? Like maybe a grapefruit. You eat the meat out of a grape. It's like a type of citrus fruit, and the inside part is called meat. So then I started
I
thinking
don't know
like
about that one, Chief.
it's a fact. I know.
Oh, it's a fact. Okay.
It's a fact. Let me give it a goose.
Who
Fruit.
made you the
meat.
meat marshal here?
Listen, I love meat more. Meat fruit. There's actually
Okay, Sokka.
there's an actual fruit called meat fruit. What? Let me see. What is the meat of a fruit?
Oh my god, you're ridiculous.
Well, it's technically it's not called the meat. But it.
Oh, okay, there we go. So,
Well,
anyways,
people call it the
checkmate.
meat. People, it's just the
Fish
fleshy. It's just the
is
fleshy
not
part of
meat.
the food of like a fruit.
Fish
The
is
technical term is
meat.
called the mesocarp, but people
Fish
call it
is
the meat of the fruit
meat.
or the
Fish
flesh. The majority of the flesh is the mesocarp. Well,
Fish isn't meat.
whatever. Moving on. Go back to the episode.
You're the one who brought it up, homie G.
Well, you said meat again. We're talking about meat.
Oh god. Okay, well anyways, the last thing that I have written down is I find it odd that the spirits created the canyon. Like the tour guide said that the farmers didn't offer the spirits sacrifices, and which is why they created the canyon. But like even throughout all the lore, like you never really hear anything about humans needing to make sacrifices for the spirits or them demanding any. Like this just
Um,
it just seems so out of the blue for the spirits.
I don't think it's like maybe it depends on the spirit, like for sacrifices. But I think like when you stop worshiping a spirit, it becomes like angry and it starts
But they don't really
ravaging.
but like when does Heibai get worshipped? Never. He only
Uh,
ravaged because his forest was destroyed. There's no one worships that dude.
I think.
And he only steals your face when you show expression. So
Well, maybe it's like I said, like a certain type of spirit. Like maybe the spirit needs a sacrifice.
that just feels like more like a god thing, but they don't really have that here. Like with Greek gods, they're like,
Well,
you better
remember.
pray, give me sacrifices, or I'm going to fuck your life up.
Well, remember. I mentioned this a couple weeks ago. Was Avatar Yang Chen? People started worshiping her because of how powerful she was, which messed
Mhm.
up the balance between the spirit worlds and stuff. Which is why when the next Avatar guy came along, he had to fix the spirit world side of things because all the spirits were angry that no one was worshiping them anymore. And that's why they stole his girlfriend's face.
Oh, I see. Okay, maybe.
What are you doing?
Sorry, I got a Snapchat from my big.
Oh, so Snapchat is more important than the podcast.
Okay, but here's the thing. I'm still talking to you and paying attention, whereas you had to pause and you just stopped talking in general. I'm still engaging. I can multitask.
Well, actually, I wasn't just looking at a text. I was looking for my notes, which are on my phone this week. So, checkmate.
No, there is no checkmate. I'll just make another move.
Where are you moving to this time? Canada.
Knight to e5.
Harry Potter.
Yes.
London. She's going to London. Anyways,
I'm really sorry for all the background noise that you're gonna get from my mic because I keep like switching to laying down, but my job is really just effing up my back because I sit for 8 hours straight. So I'm sorry.
It's okay. I'm not really picking anything up.
Okay, that's good because it's
I
like
just hear
kind
your
of doing a
voice.
little
And
in
I
my
figure
Audacity, but
I finally figured out how to cut out background noise and make it sound good.
wow.
I'm learning how to podcast. Also, I didn't put any picture out this last week because that's how tired I was.
I know. What the honk? I couldn't post on my Insta story.
Yeah, so I think what I'm gonna do if I'm not busy this weekend is I'm just gonna Photoshop a couple
You should
episodes.
I would say because I got ahead on some episodes for like watching them and writing notes and stuff.
Yeah, I think about doing that, but then sometimes I'll watch it right before the show, like we record, and I'm like, I didn't write the note down, but I'm like, this could be interesting, and it leads to like another conversation. That if I just write the note, sometimes I'm like, I don't know what this note meant, and two, I don't know where exactly I wanted to go with this note.
Well, that's why you like write down your whole thought process.
I usually just write like a blurb. Anyways, coming back to this, do you have any more points?
I do not have any more points. I've exhausted all my points because, like you said, this was a pretty straightforward episode. But I did text you that we might get on weird tangents, which we did.
I
So
did.
go us.
Would you have snuck food in?
Would I have snuck food in?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think I would have brought food with me.
Mm-hmm.
But if you told me I had to get rid of it because of canyon crawlers, you know, I would just scarf that food down and be on my merry way.
What if you?
But these canyon crawlers, they sound like the leeches from a series of unfortunate events, or they're gonna smell your food if it's even been in you for the last 30 minutes.
Oh wow, I don't remember that line, but I guess that
What?
happened. Well, what if you brought non-smelly food,
What do you mean non-smelly food?
like a
I feel like
celery
all
stick?
Oh my god, I hate celery so much. I
What's
hate
wrong with
celery.
celery?
Celery is the most disgusting food on the entire planet. There's literally nothing I hate more in this world than
It's just
celery.
water on a stick. It's just stick water.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Listen,
no, it's not.
They bring that shit out with your wings. You dip your celery in that hot sauce, wing sauce, and you throw it in your mouth.
Carrots. Carrots with that. I've never been to Wingstop, but I went to this place called Wings and Things in San Diego. They gave you celery and carrots. I gave my best friend Haley my celery. She gave me her carrots. We would dip it in that little buffalo sauce and just munch on that shit. Beautiful.
I like both. I like carrots on their own. Celery, I like it because that shit burns calories. Fun fact, you burn more calories digesting celery than you get from celery.
Fun fact, the same thing happens to iceberg lettuce. So
what is iceberg lettuce?
Iceberg lettuce is like that head of lettuce you buy at a grocery store.
Okay. What? Is it just lettuce?
Iceberg lettuce. Yes, if you munch on
iceberg. Why is it called iceberg lettuce?
You burn more calories chewing iceberg lettuce than what you actually get from eating it.
What's a cabbage?
My cabbages.
Cool. Okay. I wanted to bring one more thing up. I don't remember. I guess I'll bring it up next week if I remember. But I think that does it for us this week on the pippinpaddleopsicopolispodcast. If you have any questions, any comments, any concerns, keep those to yourself. Just kidding. Just kidding. You can always message us on the gram. You can comment down in the comment section if you're listening to on YouTube. I wish like Spotify had like a comment section or like a review section. That'd be great. But yeah, leave us a comment and give us a thumbs up if you're on YouTube. Subscribe, share it. If you're on listening on Spotify, share that as well. I don't think you can rate us, but if you can, rate us on Spotify. So yeah, if you want to reach us, you can reach us on Instagram through direct messages. You can comment on the photos. You can put in the comments, or you can always email us at pippinpaddleopsicopolis@gmail.com. I didn't commit to last week as hard, So I apologize. So I will do a double post plus Andrea hitting her head on the floor at 1,000,000,000 miles an hour just for you people. And what else?
We still need to do. Okay, I think we have 2 new polls that we need to post. Number 1, are boneless wings wings? Which the answer is yes. And number
Correct.
2, is fish meat meat?
Okay.
So yeah, I think those would be good poll ideas for the Insta.
We still have the same amount of listeners, so we didn't lose listeners. Thank you all for listening. Whoever is listening, let us know where you're listening from. I always like to know that. Leave it down in the comments. Yeah, mix that algorithm up. Get us up there somehow. And the last thing I want to say is last week I also asked if Thursday was a good time for the episode. So let me know if I'm thinking of moving it to Wednesday for now. Just put it in the middle of the week for everyone. I feel like maybe a little earlier in the week would be better for people to listen to. And the last thing I wanted to say was, should we leave it up to the audience, Andrea, to decide whether we should do the last Airbender movie after the season 1 or at the end of the series?
Ooh, I think that'd be a good thing to ask the audience.
Okay, so
But also it would be hard because who knows if the audience will actually respond.
you're
But
right. Well, we'll keep bringing it up until like the very end, until we get
okay,
there.
I mean, yeah, I guess we still got some episodes.
Yeah, so starting this week, or I guess at the very end of the episode, I'm going to be asking this question. Should we wait till the very end of the series to watch the movie and talk about it? You know the movie, the horrible M. Shamanala Malama Ding Dong movie. Or should we do it at the end of the season since it ties directly into the season? Leave it down in the comments. Email us as well if you want to give us the answer that way. We do have something special coming up for the very end of season 1, and we will announce that when we get a little closer to that. But it'll be cool because doing math is going to be a special day for me and Andrea. Anticipation is killing you guys, isn't it? I like to sizzle stuff in there like that. Keeps things hot and fresh.
Okay, stop that.
Okay, well, thanks for joining us. Tune in next week when we discuss episode 12, which is the storm. Which is actually, I think, a good episode. We get some back.
It's a good episode. I
Get
got
some-
lots of notes for this one.
Just a quick sizzle. It probably has one of my favorite quotes, which is,
Don't spoil it.
oh, I can't
Save it
spoil
for next week.
Oh, we
Save
gotta
it for next week.
find out next week, I guess, everyone. Okay, thanks for joining. Bye.
Bye.